Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yashoda Nandana Brajajanarandana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Sudanandana Rajajanarandana Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Nitya Go Hare Bhariva Hariva Nitya Gora Hariva Kandraj Shim Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktavinda ki jai, Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Ho. Thank you all for coming today. Hopefully we have a blessed class today. And we're talking on 8th chapter.
Chapter 8. Yeah. Verse 25.
25, about smoke. We're going to be having a very smoky class today. Krishna? Verse 25, yes. My computer decided today that he doesn't want to cooperate with me. And this trackpad doesn't work. I'm so lucky, it's a touch screen. So I can just pinch it. Krishna 8:25 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So Krishna is going on in this chapter describing how to achieve perfection. Right? Who knows the name of the chapter?
Absolute.
Attaining the Supreme, yes. So there's different ways to attain the Supreme, and one of the ways will be explained in this verse. This is not the best one, but one of the options which Krishna is giving. Dhumo ratris tatha Krishna
Dhumaratrishtata Krishna
Dhumo ratris tatha Krishna
Dhumaratrishtata Krishna
Sanmasa dakshinayanam
Sarvasa Dakshinayanam
Sanmasa dakshinayanam
Sarvasa Dakshinayanam
Tatra chandramasam jyoti
Tatra Chandramasam Jyoti
Tatra chandramasam jyoti
Tatra Chandramasam Jyoti
Yogi prapya nivartate
Yogi Prapya Nivartate
Yogi prapya nivartate
Yogi Prapya Nivartate
Dhumoratris tatha Krishna
Dhumaratrishtata Krishna
Sanmasa dakshinayanam
Sarvasa Dakshinayanam
Tatra chandramasam jyotir
तत्र चन्द्रामासं ज्योतिर्
yogi prapya
योगे
nivartate.
प्राप्य निवर्तते
Do you repeat here?
धूमरात्रिस्तथा कृष्ण
Numaradristata Krishna
षण्मासा दक्षिणायनम्
Narvamasa Dakshinayanam
तत्र चन्द्रमासं ज्योतिर्
Tatra chandramasam jyotir
योगे प्राप्य निवर्तते
yogi prapya nivartate.
धूमरात्रिस्तथा कृष्णः
Numaradristata Krishna
सन्मासा दक्षिणायनम्
Sanmasa Dakshinayanam
तत्र चन्द्रमासं ज्योति
Tatra chandramasam jyotir
योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते
yogi prapya
निवर्तते
धूमरात्रिस्तथा कृष्णः
धूमरात्रिस्तथा कृष्ण
सन्मासा दक्षिणायनम्
Sanmasa Dakshinayanam
तत्र चन्द्रमासं ज्योति
Tatra chandramasam jyotir
योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते
yogi prapya nivartate.
धूमो रात्रि तथा कृष्ण
Dhumaratistata Krishna
सन्मासा दक्षिणायनम
Sanmasa Dakshinayanam
तत्र चंद्रमसं ज्योति
Tatra mandramasam jyotir
योगी प्राप्य निवृत्तते
योगे प्राप्य निवर्तते धूमरात्रिस्तथा कृष्ण षण्मासा दक्षिणायनम् तत्र चन्द्रमासं
jyotir
योगे प्राप्य निवर्तते
This morning I gave class in the Radha Govinda Dev Mandir. And it's so unusual to hear when you translate some word from Sanskrit, they translate same. It's in Hindi. So there was no translation actually. They had to repeat some of the words exactly in Sanskrit. Not all of them, but some. In English it's different. Dhuma,
धूम
smoke. Ratri,
रात्रि
night.
night
Tatha, also.
also
Krishna,
Krishna
this is different Krishna, not our beloved one. Fortnight of the dark moon.
the fortnight of the dark moon
Shatmasa,
षण्मासा
the 6th month.
6 months
Dakshina Ayanam,
दक्षिणायनम्
when the sun passes on the southern side.
when
when the sun passes on the southern side
Tatra,
तत्र
there.
there
Chandramasam,
चन्द्रमासं
the moon planet.
moon planet
Jyoti,
ज्योति
light.
light
Yogi,
योगी
the mystic.
mystic
Prapya,
प्राप्य
achieving.
achieving
Nivartate,
निवर्तते
comes back.
comes back
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, in the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6th month when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back. What to do? The purport is quite short, right? But we'll see. In the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapila Muni mentions that those who are expert in fruitive activities and sacrificial methods on earth attains the moon at death. Those elevated souls live on the moon for about 10,000 years by demigod calculation. That's different. That's not our years. And enjoy life by drinking somarasa. They eventually return to earth. This means that on the moon there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by our gross senses. Amagyanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We have to understand that this material world, although it is described as many planetary systems, and particularly in this verse it mentions you can reach the moon planet, is only a small portion of the sky. And the majority of the sky is spiritual. Sometimes Sanskrit term is used as Ekapada Bhuti and Tripad Bhuti. You know what it means? It is like 1/4 and 3/4. It is said that the spiritual sky, sometimes it is covered by the cloud of ignorance. Like when you see the shiny sky in a beautiful day, Indian day, and then sometimes rainy clouds come in a rainy season and they cover some part. But still, rest of it is clear. So in the same way, only a small portion of spiritual sky is covered. But there's a big difference. There's so many differences actually. But one of the main differences is that, as it mentions in the commentary of Prabhupada here, that people who are very expert in material goals, they try to reach higher planets. Actually, they are, maybe not directly, How much people, I want to go to the moon. Not really. When we look at the news and we see how the so-called moon landing happened many years ago, it didn't look very inspiring, right? Just black sky and dust and everything. But Prabhupada explains, yes, there is living beings there, but unperceivable by our senses. Not to speak of cameras and videos and everything. But the principle is same, that you want to achieve something higher. You want to enjoy. And they actually enjoy some rasa. We cannot imagine. Our nimbu pani or masala chach is nothing to compare to the some rasa of the heavenly planets. Therefore, enjoyment is quite high. And years, just imagine. You know how much years are 10,000 by demigod calculation, approximately? Can you imagine? The 1 year of our life is 1 day. Yeah, the 6 months is a day and 6 months is a night. So 1 day of 1 year of our collection is only 1 day. So multiplied by how many days? 30. It's 1 month, 30 years. So then you calculate by 12. And then you calculate by 10,000. It's just amazing. It's just hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. Still, we know from the history, especially in Jagannath Puri, if you have been, you have heard the story of Indradumna Maharaj, who went for heavenly planets. And he was happy to see the higher living beings, but what happened when he came back? None of his relatives were there, all passed away. So this is misfortune. And there are scientists who also say, there's one movie called Interstellar. Have you seen that one? No? Hopefully you don't much movies, but there is one movie, and they had this scene when they tried to find some planet because there was a droughts and everything, the big problems are here on the earth, and they were looking for a new planet to inhabit. And they somehow managed to jump very far away, and they find one planet close to some black hole. And what happens? The time passes there completely differently. And they were just a couple of hours there, and they came back to the other ship, the mothership. And the guy who was waiting for them, he waited till 24 years. He was already old. So it is an unusual system in the universe that in different planets the time passes away very differently. After all, it is mentioned that even the whole life of Brahma, which is trillions and millions of trillions of years, is only 1/4 of the second in the life of Mahavishnu. Just breathes out and breathes in. For him, it's like, I don't know. 4 Brahmas live and die, live and die. Yeah, time passes different. Still, for the devotees, in one moment, it seems like millions of years without Krishna. An opposite, When you have Krishna, even the night of Brahma for gopis, they were like going like one moment was not enough. Not enough. So yes. But this is devotee lifestyle. We are talking about devotees quite differently. Beyond this material world, sometimes Prabhupada explains there is also a so-called liberation. Have you heard of that? Hopefully you don't watch movies, you don't hear about liberation. You are pure devotees already. Yeah, liberation is one of the ways which are encouraged by Vedic literature. How many of them? Who knows? 1, 2, 3, 10? How many types of liberations are there? 5. There's many of them, yes. And Kapila Dev again explains, Salokya Sarti Samipya, Sarupya, yeah. There's many of them. But devotees don't care much about these liberations. Why? Because for them, service to the Lord is more pleasant and important than actually being close to the Krishna. And we can see from the Lord of the living lives of followers of Lord Chaitanya, most of them, many of them, for example, didn't come to Vrindavan. We are so keen to come to Vrindavan for spiritual advancement, for parikrama, so on, so on, so on. Lord Chaitanya visited Vrindavan how many times? 1? I don't know. At least 1, definitely, but not more. We went back to Navadvip. Of course, for Chaitanya is a little bit different. Where he goes, there is spiritual world. But still, even more devotees from Navadvip, they didn't didn't stay with Lord Chaitanya all the time. They came maybe Jagannath Puri once a year, but not all of them even. And that is based on Chaitanya's very deep desire and instructions. Where you go, you talk about Krishna. That's his instruction. One of the devotees, he wanted to go with him. He said, no. Stay where you are. Just serve Krishna, preach about Krishna, and you'll be closer to me. Compare if you are physically close to me. Same thing about spiritual master, we can say. There is a Vani and Vapu, the personal presence and instructions, right? So many times there was one unusual case. One of Prabhupada's disciples, he was very keen to glorify Prabhupada. And every time he saw Prabhupada, he tried to be close first of all. he just jumped and, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, and what else? What else is better than disciple glorifying his spiritual master? But what do you think Prabhupada said? Go and do something useful. Go and do something useful. So for him, this was the stage which he has passed. So glorifying Srila Prabhupada in front of Prabhupada is not as important if you do and glorify your spiritual master in the eyes of those who don't know anything about spiritual life. So every person, every devotee who is advancing in spiritual life without instruction of spiritual master, of Krishna, will be stuck in his perception of his level or his desires and don't know what to do next. Right? Just the previous lecture, he thought about many levels, There was Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, so up to the Bhava and Prema. So different levels. But even between them, there's many gradations. Like we, as a devotees, we have heard that sannyasis have different levels. Have you heard about that? No? Bhakudak, Kutichak, Parivarikachakacharya, Paramahamsa. These 4 levels of sannyasis. You know that there's 4 levels of vanaprastha, 4 levels of grihastha, and 4 levels of brahmachari as well. If you are interested, you can find in Srimad Bhagavatam all these gradations. This is for us to be more easy to do the next step. So for devotees who want to go to higher planets, definitely. And there's a kind of like a merry-go-round, In a Disney parks, there's these carousels, you want to enjoy and you jump on some horse and just go around and enjoy the view and the music and lights going on. In universe, it is doing the same. There is upgoing path and there is downgoing path. If you live 100 lifetimes perfectly according to our Varnashram system, you can even reach the post of Brahma. Can do. But you have to remember opposite also. The very first time when you come to material world, Krishna gives you position of Brahma. So you can reach Brahma from up, going down, progressing, but also, since we are all here, we are not Brahmas. We used to be Brahmas. So we went down. So all this upgoing and downgoing path is going from the heavenly planets down to the earth, maybe even to the Patalaloka somewhere, very terrible stations. And then you are like, okay, I'm done. We had one devotee in our country, and he was initiated, but before initiation he had some problems with drugs. And not just simple drugs like here, biddies, really crack and heroin, so on. So even after a while, probably 10 years, he had a relapse. And one day we found that he was looking for remnants of sweet Sunday prasadam in a rubbish bin in a temple. But because he had some drugs, and when you get the drugs and you eat, you are so happy, you just fall asleep. So devotees was chanting japa in the morning, and he found him in a rubbish bin, in a dustbin, big one for the leftovers. He was sleeping there. And what devotees were very, very merciful, they broke him. So they took him in the ashram and locked him in a room. Locked him in a room, and twice a day just opened, pushed the plate with the prasadam, and it closed again. So for 1 month, he was screaming, drug addicts, they're very, very, actually it's very emotionally painful as well. And body, like, craving for some rust, for drugs, for narcotics. So, Pujari in Sweden now, in Korsnäsgard, he's worshipping deities, and after many times being in India, he's posting in Facebook very beautiful pictures of Radhakund and so on. So, happily married, happily engaged. That's all mercy of Krishna and devotees. So, for materialists, it's the same process. Even if you go up or even go down, doesn't matter. For devotees, going around preaching Krishna's name, it's very, very easy and important. And Prabhupada gave many classes, and for us it's a very benefit. There's such a program called Vedabase, Have you used Vedabase? It's very good, You just look, and there's all classes, all lectures by Prabhupada by the verse. And Prabhupada actually gave the class on this verse. There's many more coming from, I think, 21 till up to 27, so he gave class, quite a long one. And in that class he explained that, yes, there is a system for devotees, and for those non-devotees, there is this path of moon going. And you have to actually try. It's so strange, you have to try to die in a certain time. Is it easy? You can try, you can actually fast. And Prabhupada himself, he understood in some stage that he's going to pass away. So when you come to that stage, you don't even care for food. And after a while, you don't even care for water. You understand, that's it, I'm done. Everybody knows one of Prabhupada's disciples, Bhakti Charaswami. Experience. One of these last letters on Vyasa Puja for Prabhupada, he said, Srila Prabhupada, all the instructions you gave me, I have fulfilled. Now I can go back to you. He said like this, he wrote in his letter, I can go back to you. And about 1 year later, he passed away in Mayapur happily. Well, as much as you can be happily by COVID, there was some complications, but still, he left his body. Who of us can put the hand on the heart and say, whatever Guru Maharaj, whatever Krishna, whatever spiritual master, I have done. I fulfilled your desire. That would be nice, right? One of the best feelings. But it's not so easy. Some days ago, Sachinanda Maharaj, he was giving class here, and he said, what would be the single thing you would be ready to give up? One of your material attachments for Krishna, for Krishna's pleasure. What would that be? Just think about it. Don't answer loudly, but there is some attachment, not probably many, And currently we can see in the second generation, third generation devotees that those who come to Krishna consciousness, they have many material desires. Maybe I'm alone, but you can confirm or not. But those young devotees who born in a families, they don't have so much material desires. They have few, but very strong. Very strong, And we can see that those devotees who are born in our families, they actually the same devotees, but they didn't make it. They didn't finish their spiritual progress. So therefore, they still have desires, and therefore Krishna gives chance. Yes, sure, why not? Bhagavad Gita says that super soul is Anumanta and Upadrishta. Krishna in the heart is observing and also allowing things to do. He reminds us. You remember last life? You wanted the car? You wanted the beautiful family? Okay, now you have to do it. I desired to help you with your material benefits, I arranged the wife for you, I arranged the house, I arranged everything, and now you said, are you going to back up? No. Now it's your time. Get it. Okay. He reminds us, this was your desire, now you have a chance to fulfill it. But same thing is related to spiritual desire. But it's not so easy. And if we come back to those different liberations, we can understand that it is possible. I try to find the verse, which is that. There's one verse. I think it's in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Anyways, it is mentioned that sometimes by heart is better than actually reading. It is mentioned that devotees don't accept, and this is Prabhupada's translation, devotees don't accept any of those liberations. And that's Prabhupada's translation. But the Sanskrit actually says one more thing. It is not connected to Krishna's service. So for Krishna's service, devotee is ready to accept any liberation if it pleases Krishna. And in some stage we understand that whatever seva, whatever service we can do here, still is not as perfect, is not as pleasing to Krishna compared to one if we would serve Krishna directly in a spiritual world. Right? How much is possible here? How much books we can distribute alone? How much temples we can build? There was one devotee, he was just sitting closed eyes and he was building a road for Chaitanya to go. He was planting trees and everything, It's easy, just in a short while. Even in mental state, you can build a whole temple in 5 minutes for Krishna's pleasure. For us, fundraising, building, fighting with the unqualified builders and so on, everything. And then the rainy season comes, and then the donors, they don't give money anymore, and so on. In a mental way, you can serve Krishna better. What to speak in the spiritual? Everything you desire in the spiritual world, it can be fulfilled in 1 second. Just one moment, 11th part of a second. So, if we are ready to please Krishna every possible way, and you have nothing else to think, Krishna is ready. Okay, please come to me. You don't need to in material world. I will send some other devotees to preach there. The beginning devotees, the new bhaktas. You can now come serve in Vrindavan personally. This is the goal. Why would Prabhupada call his magazine Back to Godhead? And not just any Godhead. He didn't mean Godhead like Vaikuntha Godhead or Dwarka Godhead. No, he meant actually Vrindavan Godhead. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains. When Rupa Goswami, he was trying to write a play about Krishna, the great personalities came and said, Dwarka Krishna and Vrindavan Krishna is not the same. You have to do two different plays. This is not the same. Don't mix these things together. So for us who came here to Vrindavan, we understand this is the Krishna we want to serve. This is the goal. And if you lose the goal, what happens? You lose inspiration. You become depressed. You know what the disease called depression? Anyone has an experience with depressed people? I have heard from many sources that depression is one of the prominent diseases in States. You know why? Philosophical explanation, you want to know? Because our acharyas explain there is three things. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana, right? the situation you are now, this is your Sambandha. Then there's a goal you want to go, and there's a process to achieve it. So of materialists, what is Sambandha? Yeah. Birth. And Prayojana, death. And Abhidaya, everything's between. That's a joking, sorry. For materialists, to achieve any material thing, it is beautiful. But what happens when you get it? Your car, which was your dream goal, becomes your Sambandha. You lost your goal. You achieved it. The goal has become your situation. Now you have to build new dream. And because new dream again will be material, you can achieve it, hopefully. And again, you lost your goal. Therefore, for devotees, it's completely different. For devotees' goal is what? Make Krishna happy. Can you make Krishna happy? Actually, can you make him happy? Yes and no. You can make him happy just by offering leaves, tulasi leaf. Advaita Acharya, he was offering tulasi leaves, 8 tulasi manjaris, in his shalagram, 2 on each side, 4 directions. Just water, sprinkle water. And he will be eternally indebted. But still, from other side, it's not enough. He says, surrender to me. Completely. Not just, Tulasi. You didn't create Tulasi. That's Tulasi Mataji. That's Vrindavan. You take leaves for her, offer me. Perfect. It's like Ganges water. You offer it to Krishna. Yes. To Ganges itself. Yeah. This is not yours. What you have. You offer something else to me. Yeah, but it's not yours. This is, I created. Devotees created. What you can give. What is yours? And this is Bali Maharaj's situation. He was ready to give everything. What happened? Krishna said, okay, I took everything. What else you have? He said, okay, put it here. Yeah, put it in my heart. So when we are ready to not just give up and say, this world is not material. This world is created from Krishna's energy and meant for Krishna's pleasure. So then it doesn't matter, it's spiritual, material. If you engage in Krishna's service, it's perfect. Still, engaging some energy in Krishna's service is not enough. Krishna wants us to serve him. Give our emotion, give me surrender. And therefore he's teaching in different ways. At the same time, similarly, Prabhupada gave in a class comparison when there's elections of president. What he does, he creates his election team. You'll be manager, you'll be this, you'll be finances, you'll be public relations, you'll be TV, everything. He just creates his team to be successful. Krishna does the same. When he comes to this world, he sends his devotees first. His father and mother, his close friends, his neighbors, his servants, everything. When he's everything perfect, he comes himself finally. So today also, I don't know, have you visited today's morning class? I was not there, but there is also a disappearance day of Ishvara Puri. You know that? Ishvara Puri was spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. And his spiritual master was very, very, very famous, Madhavendra Puri. Gaur Gandesh Deepika explains that his eternal spiritual form is Kalpavriksha. Kalpavriksha tree, yeah. There is the mantra which usually pujaris chant, whatever, we can chant also, about Govinda Dev, Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadruma Srimad Ratnaranga Simhasanasto Srimad Ratra Srila Govinda Deva Prishtaribi Sevemano Smarami. So first line, Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpa Drumada. In a temple of jewels in Vrindavan, underneath desire tree, Sri Radha Govinda Dev being served. So this desire tree, original desire tree, is actually Madhavendra Puri. And Chaitanya Charitamrita Krishnadas Guraj explains that he was original root of love of Godhead. And his disciple Ishvara Puri was his first sprouts, first sapling. And the trunk, the main trunk of this tree was Lord Chaitanya himself. Yes, so this desire tree, he fulfills every desire. And he understood actually secret desires of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, in this age, we have received extremely special mercy. All Mathuri Ras, all the most exalted service of Krishna, which was not so much explained before, came originally from Madhavendra Puri. And when he was passing away, practically almost disabled, and his disciple Ishvara Puri serving him, he received the ultimate gift of Krishna Prem. So he imparted it, let's say, to Lord Chaitanya, and in such a way, through the next acharyas, we are able to give. So therefore, let us pray for the blessings of those most exalted devotees like Ishvara Puri, and get absorbed in their humbleness, ability to serve. Once he came to Advaitacharya, and Advaitacharya was serving his deity, and he was just sitting there. He was in a sannyasa dress. And Advaitacharya could feel, he could see that this devotee is unusual. He was emanating the effulgence, spiritual effulgence from him. Same like Lord Chaitanya when he was preaching to impersonalists, when he was sitting just where the shoes are. You know, all the Mayavadi is like, oh, you're Narayan himself, come. So similar way, Advaitacharya, he was very happy to see him, but he didn't know. So, and he asked, who you are? And I said, I'm nothing, I'm not sannyasi, anything, I'm just the lowest of Shudras, you know. But at the same time, there was one devotee, I can't remember his name, Mukunda Datta, all right. And he decided to reveal the real truth about Ishvara Puri. So he started to sing, and he sings very, very sweet, like extremely sweet voice. He was starting singing bhajans. And what happened, Ishvara Puri, he couldn't control himself. He just fell on the ground, and he was just rolling, crying, drenching himself in the love of God. And Advaitacharya was like, wow, that's real, that's highest blessing. And they embraced and they chanted, Hari, Hari. But Ishvara Puri himself, he was he said, I'm most fortunate. I came to have darshan of your lotus feet. So there's many things we can quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita and so on. Yes. There's a path of smoke and light, but for devotees, they are completely dependent on Krishna's choice. Whatever you send, I'll be happy. There's example from Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Sanatana Goswami describes that Gopakumar, he was traveling up to the spiritual world. He finally reached the borderline of spiritual world. And what he could see? He could see the long queue, line of devotees standing in line waiting for the chance to come, to take birth in the material world, to take part in preaching mission. So we can say, yes, I want to follow Bhagavad Gita. And Here, what Krishna says, whatever you come back to me, you don't go. That's it, Bana. Bas. No. If you send me back to Krishna to preach, especially take in Chaitanya's mission, and Chaitanya is actually, he's amazing. When he finishes pastimes, straight away, next universe, the pastime starts. They never stop. Unending. All the time. So, it's enough savor for everyone. I'm so unlucky. I was on this planet when Prabhupada was here for 10 years. I was born 67 and he passed in 77. I didn't meet. So actually have a blessings to be on the same planet with Krishna is not perfect. You can be on the same planet with Krishna but don't see him, never meet him. Yeah, like me, I was on the same planet with Prabhupada. And there's small children, they were going around. You see a video here. Small girl going and putting garland on Prabhupada, doing dandavat. And I was doing nonsense first 10 years. Going some school, some whatever. So actually being on the same planet of Krishna is not benefit. So therefore devotees are more happy to serve, not to be in his presence. But at the same time, when the purity of heart reaches the certain level, you have this called laulyam. Unsatiated desire to see Krishna. And Krishna is not monster. If you have such a thing, why not? I'll give you darshan. I come back to you. So on this happy note, I'll end. Maybe anyone has some questions or comments?
Thanks for the wonderful class. The question is, as you guys were saying, like the goal of life should be to keep Krishna love. And that
Say it lower.
the goal of life should
Life.
be to keep Krishna prem.
Right.
Isn't it?
It's a little bit too high. Acharyas give a little bit more precise, actually bhav. Yeah, because it's more like goal, fits the name of the goal. Because Krishna Bham is not goal, it is blessing. Whatever we do, we cannot get it by our endeavor. Because it's beyond the reach of sadhana, it's perfection already. So there's a normal sadhana and there's a bhava sadhana, very close, still bhava. So that could be our goal. If we reach goal, it's a condensed, actually it's already pure Vishuddha Sattva, according to Rupa Goswami Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So that's more to goal. And Krishna Prema is actually final blessing, the praise, the gold medal we receive after long sadhana. Okay? And second part of question?
So, number of times it happens like we don't know whether Krishna is pleased with our whatever.
Really?
Yeah, because all like in my case, it's like sense gratification. If I like something, I offer Krishna. If I like this, okay, I offer Krishna. And when needed.
And most times Krishna likes pizza, right?
So it's very difficult to, like for me, like to know whether Krishna is pleased with my any offering or whatever I do, even the japa, or it's like, I don't know.
So the question is how to know what to do if Krishna don't want to be pleased. Well, first of all, as I mentioned, Krishna ultimately wants us back into his presence. Even more in the physical presence, he wants us to be close to him emotionally and spiritually and devotionally. Prabhupada gave a very unusual example. In the same class, and about these verses, he mentioned he was walking with his son, child, how much years he had, 5 or 6. And he was asking Prabhupada, his father, Dadu, why the moon is walking with us? They were strolling in the evening, and you walk and you see the trees are passing away, going, the buildings going, but moon stays in the same place. In the same way, when we chant Hare Krishna mantra, Krishna is with us. If the moon can walk with us, Krishna, who has unlimited potencies, Nam Nama Kribahuda, Nija Sarva Shaktis, he can be present easily with us when we chant Krishna's name. The question, do we want? At that time, or we think of many things. So this is ultimately what Krishna wants. Meanwhile, there's a process which is explained by acharyas, by Prabhupada, by our spiritual master, how to purify the heart so it actually can perceive it. You actually can understand it and actually desire it more than anything else. So, for us, pleasing devotees, it is more pleasing to Krishna than pleasing Krishna directly. Many times we say what Krishna wants. Krishna has many desires. He has also many big plans. But when we are able to please our spiritual master, devotees around us, Krishna is more pleased. He says, you are not devotee. You claim my devotee, the devotee of my devotee. That is devotee. So therefore, this is special blessing. We don't have to think too much what Krishna wants. If we see devotees around, it's much easy to understand what they want, They are not so unlimited as universal forms. So if you are able to serve devotee and somehow he is pleased, Krishna will be eternally indebted to you. So this is a simple answer. You want more? Enough? Enough. Hare Krishna Mataji.
You were saying earlier that you had given an example of a devotee who decorated the road for Lord Chaitanya
Right.
in his mind. And Prabhupada always said, Krishna will certainly accept seva done in the mind.
Right.
So my question is it the same for his devotees? Because I've never heard Prabhupada say or read that he directly says a devotee can get saved, even like Shrimati Tulsi Devi,
Right.
do her service on our mind, or we
Right.
do Prabhupada's service on our mind. Is it exactly the same as doing service in our mind for Krishna?
Well, I'm going to take one small thing which is quite esoteric. There is Paricharya Seva and there is Prasanga Seva. Have you heard those terms?
I might have heard, but
Paricharya means actually the service by body and even mind, which is subtle, still body. And there is Prasanga Seva. Similar terms is in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is called Cheshtarupa and Bhavarupa. So the main thing is, one thing you can do service by that field of activity which we call body. Pujaris know that before you actually do physical offering to Guru, you offer first in the mind. They train that. Brahmanas, they chant the mantra in the mind, which is not just accepted, this is must have. You have to train. And gradually we come to emotions and spiritual offerings, which are more important than this external service. Everything is accepted. Still, when Duryodhana was trying to feed Krishna, he provided the best cooks and best lady dancers, knowing that Krishna likes dancing. He didn't care a tinge. He didn't care at all. At the same time, he said, there is a banana peels which are waiting in Vidura's house. That's the one we're going to eat, except not there are hundreds and thousands of cooks, So the actual relationship to the person, the closeness, intimacy is what Krishna wants. How you do it? In some stage, you have to do it externally. In some stage, you have to do spiritually, mentally, and some stage you have to both. Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi. Again, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That means externally you follow the lifestyle of pure devotee. Currently in our position, that would be perfectly like Rupa Goswami, Raghunatha Goswami. What they did. Internally, you serve in a spiritual consciousness. And some stage you have to come to this stage, the two both. Short answer. So, both things are accepted, but more important is that closeness which you develop to the person, that this is I want to do for you, for no one else. I want to please you. I don't care about my pleasure, my sense gratification, whatever I benefit get. Even there is sometimes test that Krishna is accepting service for a long time, not giving any spiritual advancement at all. Like zero. Like we are ready to not have material benefits, but sometimes Krishna just keeps us going, and not giving any spiritual advancement. That's also a test, how selfless you are. And in the highest level, there's no question of things like gopis who are completely absorbed. Even they get some lesson from Krishna. You're getting a little bit proud. You think you're most fortunate woman in the universe, even them. So Krishna is willing, and he will always be giving some lesson for our patience, some little bit drop of false ego which creeps in, or pride, whatever it is. And we have to keep up. Because Krishna is moving, he's dancing, he's very fast. You have to catch up. So whatever we do, the main thing is that sometimes we have no unified process what to do. Because that means we have our frames. This is the thing I want to do. Krishna will find the break your, I would say the comfort area. And he will go out all the way to purify your heart even more. So to keep up in this process, this is our challenge. At the same time, most rewarding process. So that means whatever you have, whatever you don't have, try to engage in Krishna Seva, and he'll be pleased. Mind, body, soul, devotees around you, even those things didn't have, Prabhupada was very keen to engage those devotees who were not his devotees, to become his devotees. The house which didn't belong to him, make his house. He said like a snake. It's our business is like snake. The materialist rats, the mouses, they build the houses. What we do, we just go inside, eat the mouse and live in the house. So this is the beauty. Okay? We have to stop. If you have any questions, I can answer more, but officially we have to finish here. Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai, Gaura Premanande.